If I did not have the ability to speak up and communicate my desire in the room that day, I could have missed my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I could have been sitting in the movie theater watching Jersey Boys instead of on the screen in Jersey Boys, never knowing that Clint Eastwood was waiting for me to walk through that door.
Connecting with others, you can create a better life for yourself and the people around you. Every opportunity comes when you connect with other people. So I have Renée Marino on the show today. She's a speaker, published author, the best-selling author, and you should grab her book, Becoming the Master Communicator. It's an amazing book. You should really read it. And her energy is amazing. And we're going to talk about the subject that is so close to my heart, how to connect with others, because I am the connector. Renée, I am so happy you are here.
I'm so thrilled to be here. I can't wait for our conversation.
Oh my God. You know, the moment that I saw you like last year in Austin, Texas on the stage and Aspire, you know, the tour, and I said, she's the one I need to talk to.
Yeah,
and you were grabbing, you were grabbing a coffee, and I said, I want to go talk to her, and I want to introduce myself. I want to say how great she was, and I want to learn from her. I connect with you. If I would not connect with you, it wouldn't happen today, and I wouldn't interview Eddie, Connor, Marcus, and I'm so happy that we connect. And you were so nice that you accept this invitation. But from the Broadway, you made it all the way up there. You were shining, you were grinding, you were going, you had everything. And then, bam, you changed it. What happened?
Yeah, well, in 2019, I was doing my most recent Broadway show, which was Pretty Woman, the musical. And during that time, I started writing my book, Becoming a Master Communicator, because I just saw this need for help in the area of communication. So I would be doing 8 shows a week on Broadway, run off stage, sweating in my makeup, my dance shoes, and the crew guys would let me use their room. So I would write. And when the show closed, I had this sense that I was ready to activate my other gifts. You know, I've been a performer my entire life, Broadway, film, TV, and I said, I'm ready to activate my other gifts. And it was never a thought of like, that's it, I'm not performing anymore. I will always be a performer. I mean, that's my love. But I said, you know, I want to have my book published. Maybe I want to start speaking, coaching. I didn't even know what that meant. And then I took a course from Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi to start my own business. And every day I'd wake up and I'd do the course online and I would take action. And a month later, the world shut down. So it was like divine timing, because even if I wanted to continue performing, I wouldn't be able to because no one was able to. So that's the time I started my business and I got my first book publishing deal. So I continued writing my book and everything just kind of took off from there.
What was the driving force behind it? What made you to shift? Or it was very scary because, you know, it's charted. It's hard.
You know what's crazy is you know, now I'm an entrepreneur. I didn't even know what that was. I knew nothing about business. I mean, you know, so a lot of people I take notice who go into entrepreneurship, maybe they've been in corporate before. They were in some sort of business. I was not. I was a creative performer, right? Singing, dancing, acting. So when I say this was all so new for me, it was like a baby learning to walk. So all I knew is that my gut instincts, you know, and your gut instincts are your greatest guide. I just always believed in my life that the purpose of my life is to activate and use all of my God-given gifts. I just feel like when my time is up on this earth and it's my time to go to the other side, I want to know that I utilized every gift that God gave me. And that's all it was, is that I was like, you know what? I'm a writer. I want to get this book out into the world. I love speaking. I love inspiring. I want to try that. So that's all it was. It was just like, I got to use these gifts, right? Just like I always took voice lessons and dance class because that was part of my skill sets. the same with this. I was like, you know what? I need to get this message out into the world that everything starts with communication, that we must get back to that authentic connection and communication.
I totally agree what you said about the communication, but I believe one thing that I'm sure you believe, that if you can't connect with yourself internally, how could you connect with other people? What advice do you have for that? Because a lot of people are disconnected with themselves, and how are you going to go connect with other people when you yourself, you're disconnected?
Yeah. Step one of my 7-step connect method is communication with self. And just like you said, how can we ever connect with others in a real way if we don't know who we are? And we live in a day and age of so much distraction, right? Artificial intelligence, text messages, emails. I mean, there's so much overstimulation. So it's easier than ever to disconnect from ourselves. If you're dealing with something that you don't want to think about or feel, you can numb yourself by streaming a whole season of a show on Netflix or hopping on social media for what I call the good old S&C, scroll and compare.
Yeah.
Where you just scroll away and compare yourself to other people's perceived realities and then wonder why you don't feel so good about yourself, right? It's because we're moving further and further away from who we are and what's going on within. So one of the most powerful practices I share that I use myself is waking up in the morning, and instead of rolling over to your nightstand to grab your smartphone or check your emails and get your brain activated, sit in your quiet space alone and ask yourself one question: how am I feeling? And then take 5 to 10 minutes to put pen to paper to write the answer. Now, I say write very consciously and strategically, because when we write, we activate more parts of the brain. And cognitive scientist Daniel Willingham has noted that students remember what they think about. And when they're writing, they're thinking about formulating the letter that formulates the word, that formulates the sentence, thus giving them a deeper understanding of that information. So in this case, when we write, we're giving ourselves a deeper understanding of what's going on within. And what's so amazing, Rami, is when you take a moment or two to read back what you wrote, it's often enlightening what you find. Like, I've had times where I read back what I wrote and I'm like, oh, I thought I was over that argument with my husband, but apparently I'm not, because I'm still writing about it. And this gives you clues and insights as to what's really going on within. That way, when you have that strong connection with yourself, now when you open up your bedroom door and you communicate with your family and you walk into the office and you're connecting with your team, you're doing so from a more aligned place because you've taken the time to connect with the most important person in your life first, you.
And some people, they are afraid to connect with the others because they don't value themselves. This has happened to me once. I said, what can I offer? What is my value? And that kind of pushed me back, but I got over it. I raised my standards. But a lot of people, they have that within that say, I don't have anything to offer. What should I? But I think it's the opposite.
Yes. If you, and again, this is why step one, you want to be an amazing communicator in business. You want to feel comfortable in conversations. You have to take time to be with you. Right? Because what starts to happen is through writing and through asking yourself questions. Think about it. It's just like when you talk to another person and you ask them questions, you learn about them and you're like, oh, I didn't know that about Rami. Oh my gosh, I didn't know he loved communication as much as I do. We have to do that with ourselves, right? And listen, we are the hardest on ourselves. And sometimes we don't want to face our own shame. We don't want to face our own insecurities, but the only way to get through them is to face them and to get in connection with yourself. So as hard as it may seem, trust me, it is so worth it. It is so worth it to take that time to connect with yourself because it only elevates every other part of your life.
I love your, this story that the jersey that you tell always. I want you to tell that again, because that really changed your life. Because if you wouldn't wait, you wouldn't dare, and it wouldn't happen. And we sometimes don't want to connect with the others. It's happened with me. And if you do that and connect and actually go forward, doors would open.
Yes.
And we holding basically ourselves back. And that happened to you. Tell us the
Yes.
story.
Yes. Well, in 2013, I was on Broadway in the Broadway musical Jersey Boys, and I played Frankie Valli's wife, Mary Delgado. Sassy first wife of Frankie Valli. And I'm on stage one Sunday matinee, and I'm with my cast members, and we're singing, "My boyfriend's back and you're gonna be in trouble. Hey la, my boyfriend's back." And I look out to the audience, and who's staring back at me but the legend himself, Clint Eastwood.
Wow.
And we got word a few days later that Clint Eastwood was going to be directing the film version of Jersey Boys. And truth be told, Rami, I didn't even think twice about it because I had never done TV or film before. I thought, you know what? They're going to hire A-list celebrities out of Los Angeles. Like I'm not going to be a part of it. So I didn't even think about it. But then they put out a breakdown that they were looking for someone to play the role of Mary Delgado. So at this point, I said to my agent, listen, I'd love to just have the chance to audition. And an audition is just like an interview. So weeks go by. My agent calls me and she says, "Renee, I'm so sorry. Casting said they won't give you an audition for Mary Delgado, but they'll give you one for one of the smaller roles, one of the angels who sings My Boyfriend's Back." And I hung up the phone so disappointed and so confused because every girl I knew on Broadway was getting an audition for Mary Delgado but me. Meanwhile, I was playing the role at the highest level you could be. So I was like so confused. I was really upset for a little while. And then after about 30 minutes of communicating with myself, I said, you know what? Threw my hands up. I said, what am I going to do? I'm still going to go in and audition for one of the angels. And the day of the audition, the casting director says, "Renee, would you like to sing My Boyfriend's Back first or read the scene for the audition?" And at that moment, I heard this quiet little voice within say, "You have to do this. It feels too right." And I looked at the casting director and I said, "You know, Jeff, I was really hoping to come in and read for the role of Mary Delgado." And I had no idea what he was going to say. And he looked back at me and he goes, "I was just thinking the same thing." I said, "Amazing, great." Great. So I do the audition that day and I leave there feeling so grateful because I got the chance, Rami. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to know when that movie came out one day, I knew I gave it everything I had.
And you took that chance regardless of winning or losing. You just went through it.
Yes, it wasn't about that. For me, and this is who I am. For me, it's just about knowing that like I told you about activating all of my God-given gifts.
Yeah.
I have to always know I tried every avenue, right? And if it still doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I could always say, you know what, Renee, you tried. So after the audition, I go back to 8 shows a week on Broadway. 2 weeks later, my agent calls me again. And this time she says, "You're Mary Delgado in the movie. Clint Eastwood loves you." And I was like, what?
Oh my God.
It was one of the most surreal moments of my life. Well, that first day of filming and every day that followed, when we were finished shooting for the day, I would sit and eat lunch with Clint Eastwood, ask him every question I could, and then listen in a complete way. Because just like all of you listening right now, I'm a sponge and I like to use every opportunity I can to learn and to grow. And I knew that in this case, I was in like the presence of greatness and I wanted to remember everything that he had to tell me. So a month into the film, I'm eating lunch once again because eating is my favorite thing to do, Rami. I'm Italian. It's my joy. And I'm sitting with Clint Eastwood and one of the producers of the film when they begin talking about how Clint knew he wanted me for the role when he saw me perform on Broadway. And I put my fork down and I said, "Do you guys want to hear a funny story? I never got an audition for Mary Delgado. The only reason I got to read the scenes is because I opened up my big mouth in the room and asked." And the two of them looked at each other and they said, wait, what do you mean? "We requested you. We said, we want the girl from the Broadway show to come into this audition." Imagine my surprise. I came to find out that day that there was a middle person, casting associate, juggling a few films at once and just dropped the ball on having me come into audition. So in other words, if I did not have the ability to speak up and communicate my desire in the room that day, I could have missed my once in a lifetime opportunity. I could have been sitting in the movie theater watching Jersey Boys instead of on the screen in Jersey Boys, never knowing that Clint Eastwood was waiting for me to walk through that door. And I ask you, how many times in your life have you missed out on opportunities because you were afraid to speak up. And this is why I teach what I teach now, that speaking up is your superpower. And it all comes down to that ability to communicate.
Basically, you have to put yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there and you don't speak about what is in your mind, you're not going to attract.
Yes. I mean, Rami, you just said it, right? If you didn't reach out to me and come find me in the audience and say, hey, I'd love to interview you, we wouldn't be here right now, right?
Absolutely.
Like, it all comes like nothing in our lives gets accomplished without speaking up. And think about this, because I know there are so many of you right now thinking, oh, Renee, that sounds great, but I'm an introvert. I'm scared to speak up. My question to you is this. What do you have to lose? Because even if the answer is no, you just end up back where you were. Even if it doesn't work out, you can always feel that sense of pride knowing that you gave it everything you got. And nothing, the answer, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. So why not bet on yourself, right? We live this one life. The worst that's going to happen is they say no. And then you're right back where you started. But you can always say, you know what, though? It didn't work out. It wasn't meant to be because I tried. I gave it everything I got.
But, most of the people, they feel that, okay, they've been rejected because they can't take that rejection. Oh, I asked Renee and she said no. How we can get over that rejection feeling, because some people, they're not like you and I say, okay, if they say no, I'm going to be the same place I was yesterday. Nothing happened. I just try. Most of us, unfortunately, we take that personally. Say, oh, it must be something wrong with me. I got rejected, because rejection is what stops us.
Absolutely. And that goes back to step one. Part of that communication with self is getting clear on those insecurities you have, getting clear on the trauma maybe that you faced, right? And this goes so deep when it comes to communicating with yourself, right? Utilizing those other tools, whether it be therapy, whether it be, taking classes, whatever it is to get you in connection with yourself and to work through those things that hold you back, because we all have them. We all have those limiting beliefs. We all have those things that stop us. And that's why it's more important than ever to get clear on those, because we can't ever move past what we're not aware of, right? And I believe that so many of us in life, we get held back, not by the things that we're aware of, but by the things that are in our subconscious, in our unconscious. And that's, again, why I teach to write. Because when you write, you move those things from your subconscious brain, which we're not often aware of, which are the things that are running the show, those traumas, those insecurities that maybe we're not even aware of. And when we write, we move them from our subconscious into our conscious, through our hand and onto the page. So then we can stare at it and be like, oh, I didn't even realize that I was insecure about that thing. Because once we bring it to light, now we can deal with it. Right? But we can't deal with the things that we're not aware of. And that's why communication with self is step one.
I'm just going to tell you a short story. Like many years ago, when I started doing speaking, and I got a big speaking gig for University of Texas here at Austin. It was like 400 or 500 people. And one of them, my biggest. And one of my dear friends said, call this lady. She's an accent coach in Los Angeles. And I said, why? And he said, you have an accent, because I speak 5 different languages. And he said, you have an accent, but that might be a little bit, rough on the audience. And I said, okay. I called the lady, and the first thing she asked me, she said, why you want to change your accent? And I said, that's what they told me. And for the audience, she said, let me tell you something. I coach and train actresses to be somebody else, to act as a different person with different dialogue, with different accent. For your case, you have to be you.
Amen.
You have to be you, and you cannot change that. You have to accept it. You have to accept it. You have accents. So what? Be you. Work on it. Great. For the grammar, great. But be you. And she said, I'm not gonna coach you or teach you. And she hung up. Then I went back and I did the speaking, and it went well. 4 weeks later, the lady called me. She said, can you come and speak at our hospital for our staff? I said, sure. I said, how did you find me? She said, my friend, she said, you got to get that guy with a nice accent. He's good. It was so teens. That day I figured out that it's got to be me. I cannot change. I am who I am. You know, the same thing, you know, Mel Robbins was in San Diego and I was over there for the convention. She was a speaker. She was getting the coffee outside and I went and talked to Mel and we became friends and we started talking. Simon Sinek, the same thing. I always ask. And as you said, the worst case scenario is no.
Yes.
And I'm not famous. You know, it's ordinary people can do that. Always can do that.
Rami, thank you for sharing that story. That is, okay. This is wanted to hear something weird. As you were like about to share your story, I thought to myself, I love his accent. It's so beautiful and unique. I swear to you, that came in my head, right? And this is what's so divine timing about you sharing that story. Just yesterday, I spoke to a community of women, and a couple of the questions I got were about accents, because two of the girls, both of them were Latina, had these beautiful accents, and they both felt like they had to change it. Oh, I feel insecure. And I was like, no. And I gave the exact same advice that woman gave you. I said, you need to lean into that. That is a part of who you are. That's a part of your culture. That's what makes you who you are. You need to embrace that. Right? That's what makes you exactly who you are. And I love that you learned that lesson, because we are in a world of a society that's always going to tell us who we should be. You should do this. You should do that. In my book, I say we should all over ourselves. Right? And we're doing ourselves such a disservice, because what the world needs is our individuality, is our uniqueness. And this is coming from a girl who spent 37 years of my life in the entertainment field, where people were telling me, you look too Italian. You're not Italian enough. You're not tall enough. You're ethnic. You're too, right? So I had to learn this from such an early age, to just ground myself in who I am and who I was. And the funniest part is, like, the role of Mary Delgado was perfect for me, because she was a sassy girl from New Jersey. She was Italian, sarcastic, very much who I am, right? So that goes to show you that when we lean into exactly who we are, that's when the people who are meant to be in our world are attracted to us. That's when the opportunities come, not when we're trying to impersonate someone else or we're shooting all over ourselves. It's when we lean into exactly who we are, but we can't do that unless we know who that is. And that's why we have to take the time to connect with ourselves.
And, you know, one of the things that actually hold us back is the perception of others. Because you went through it, I went through it, you know, what they're going to think about us. But whatever they're going to think, good or bad, they're going to do it, no matter. And then we glue to our phones, and you see everything in, you know, it's the whole thing is changed. The perception right now, what other people they're going to think about you, is so important to so many people. You know, they want to write their posts or stories. They go over it 5-6 times. Okay, just get the camera, be yourself, say what you believe from your heart, and everything is going to happen. But how you think we can change that perception right now with all technology? As you always say, don't be glued to your phone. Mm-hmm. How can we change that? Okay, they're gonna judge you no matter what, good or bad. They're gonna judge you, but don't let them stop you.
Yeah. No matter who you are, no matter what your beliefs are, what your religion is, your culture, your political beliefs, you are never going to satisfy everyone. It's just not going to happen. I'm in the midst of listening to Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights, right? And this is what he talks about. Again, one of the world's most famous actors. And guess what? He faced rejection. He faced people not liking the way he talked, no matter who you are. So why waste any time trying to figure out what people want instead of just being you? Whatever you believe, whether you believe in God or the universe or whomever, I believe God made us exactly who we are meant to be. And when we lean into that person, and step 2 of my Connect method, so it's communication with self. Step 2 is own who you are. And that means don't just share the parts of yourself that you're proud of, right? Your wins, your strengths. Also share those vulnerabilities, those areas of opportunity for growth. Because when we share those parts of ourselves that we want to hide the most, those are the ones that connect us with others the most. And when You lean into who you are, whether you face anxiety, whether you don't like your accent, whether you feel insecure about the way you look. When you share that, you give others permission to let their guard down as well. And you let others know four of the most powerful words the human spirit can hear and understand. You are not alone. And that's what we all want to know, what we all want to feel. So be your freaking self. Be your freaking self, because there's nobody else who could do it like you can do it. Nobody else has lived your experience. So why would you want to steer away from that when you're the only one who can claim that? And that's what I say. To me, it's your duty for you to lean so deeply into exactly who you are.
And as you said, you be vulnerable. Be vulnerable, because if you're not vulnerable, it's not going to happen. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness.
No.
I'm very vulnerable. I tell everybody, you see me today, right now, I couldn't even speak English 31 years ago when I came here. I was a dishwasher. I got divorced, bankrupt, everything, made $1 million, lost $1 million, everything. That's part of my life.
Wow.
And I share it with everybody. I say, I'm not alone. Somewhere, somehow, somebody went through it.
That's it.
And I'm not alone. It's just some other people did it too. Even pivoting from what you did from the Broadway and then you went to entrepreneurship is so scary. I've been an entrepreneur for my whole life, but sometimes it beats you to your knees and you have to get up, and it's not easy. If you did it, if Renée did it with all that stuff, you can do it, guys.
Yes. You guys, let me tell you, when I first started my business and I heard that you need to make a funnel, I go, what the heck's a funnel? Like a beer funnel? I didn't know what a funnel was. So when I say I was so brand new, I knew nothing. And that's why so much of what I teach is imperfect action, right? Taking action, even when you're afraid, even when you feel vulnerable, even when you don't know what the next 3 steps are. That's literally how I've started this whole business. And I still do it every day. I'm like, what am I doing? Okay, just go.
That's so funny because, you learn the business is different that, the Broadway. When it's not only speaking, coaching, talking, it's a lot of back end that is involved. Even if you have a team, how to manage it, how you do this, how you put yourself out there and what you're going to do. It's very complicated, but you got to go through it.
Yes. Yes.
It's a pain. We all have to suffer.
Yep.
For every success, there is a pain. And I went through it, you went through it, but how people, they can get the things they want. One, as you said, connect with yourself the second you go out there and do. And is there any formula? Hey, I want to change. I want to go after it. I want to get it. Is there any secret sauce?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We live in a world right now of so much complexity, right? Every day there's a new app coming out. Artificial intelligence is blowing up, running the world. But what I want you to understand on a very deep level, no matter how advanced artificial intelligence gets, the one thing AI can never replace is human connection.
Amen.
And it's so paramount that we lean in to connecting with one another, bringing it back to simplicity, because at the end of the day, you can have all the systems, the tools, the processes, a great team. If you don't know how to connect with people in a genuine way, none of that matters. Because at the end of the day, the relationships that we have are what are going to drive us forward. The connections that we make are what create opportunities for us. And Simon Sinek said it best. He said, we don't do business with companies. We do business with people.
With people.
So what I see, especially in this space of entrepreneurship, we get so bogged down with all the things we need that we're forgetting to do what matters most, which is look each other in the eye and say, Rami, how are you? How are you feeling today? What's going on? How are your kids? That's what matters, right? We are people and people need people. And I have to tell you, I don't have a speaker agent. I don't have a big team, hardly any team right now. I'm in the process of building a team. But what has helped me create what I've created are my relationships. My relationships, because I love people. I'm a people person. This is why I teach what I teach. I love communicating with people. I love hugging. I love meeting people. And that's what's helped me get from one step to the next. People ask me all the time, like, you get on all these stages. I mean, I see you all over the place. You know, you're speaking on stage with A-Rod and David Goggins. And like, who's your agent? And I'm like, nobody. It's me, baby. It's me. Right. So again, and someone just asked me this question recently, a stage I spoke on, and I always go out into the audience and I connect with the attendees because I love that.
Yes,
and a
you do
young
that.
girl asked me, she's like, I really want to start speaking, and I've been trying to find a speaker agent. And I said, don't think you have to rely on an agent. Even when I was an actress, guess what? I had an agent, but at the end of the day, who got me the jobs? Me. Right? So lean into knowing how to connect with people. That's everything. Because trust me, like myself, even if you don't know what a damn funnel is, or you're like, I don't know how to do A, B, or C, but you know how to connect with people. People are so forgiving when they just like being around you, when you bring good energy, that they're willing to help you out. But when you're a jerk, right? And when you preach authenticity, but then you get off stage and you're not authentic, people don't forgive that, right? We live in a world where we're meant to connect. Human beings are meant to connect. That's what a human being is by nature, right? So when you learn how to do that and you treat people with kindness and treat people the way you want to be treated, you don't even understand the world of opportunities that open up.
And that's so simple by just saying hi. How can I help you? And I made a deal with the Lord, with the God. I said, you help me out. I'm going to help one person a day. And for the past 30 years, I've doing it. And that's, before midnight, I have to make a call, help a grocery, whatever it is. I got to do something. I go bananas if I can't do that.
Yes.
And I got to help. And that's so simple that you can help other people. And by helping others, basically, you help yourself. By building a great life for yourself, you're building a great life for the people around you. But we don't understand the power of connection, the power of just talking and being yourself, because the doors will open. Every door that in my career opened big, because I run a media agency and tech company. Everything happened because of me.
Yes.
And everybody's saying, how you know so many people in Texas? I said, it's just, I go and talk. For me, networking events is not a networking events. I call it connecting events. And I go and I rename it. Therefore, they give me a nickname in Texas, the Connector. Because
Yes! I've been called. That's what I'm
Are you serious? Oh my God. I get that a lot. They say, hey, call the Connector. I say, hey guys, do you think I'm a mafia? Somebody needs a plumber, they call me. Somebody the AC guy. Somebody needs a lawyer, or name it, law enforcement. They say, hey, call Rami. He knows everybody. He's the Connector. And I put people together. I think I was gifted with that. But everything that I have it from people. And I'm so grateful for it. So grateful. But sometimes you deal with some people, they have that negative energy. Now I'm going to ask you how you deal with that. I have a severe allergy to negative people.
Oh.
I don't know. Is this mean, or is just me? It's just, I can't take it, Renee. I don't know what is it. It just drains me.
Oh, me too. Rami, I can't. I'm very much an empath. So like I feel people's energy so deep, like very intensely. So I cannot be around negative energy. I cannot be around like people who say they're one way, but they're not, but they're another way. Like I literally cannot be around that. And what I do, Tony Robbins talks about this. You become the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? I mean, who you surround yourself with is who you become. It's so important to be intentional, but we can't always choose it, right? Like sometimes you have to be around those people. And that's where I always say, be the change you wish to see. I can't tell you how many times I've brought people to the other side, right? Where I'll be working with someone and they're like really negative and, and every morning I'm like, how are you? It's good to see you. And I still bring the good energy, right? And inevitably, I'm telling you 9 times out of 10, by the end of whether it's a week or a month, that person's like, good morning. And I'm like, there we go, right? And I believe, Rami, you and I as connectors, that's part of our purpose, right? We're all energy. That's what we are.
Yep.
And people need that good energy, whether they know it or not. right? Whether they're conscious or unconscious. You and I are very conscious of it. And that's where we've been gifted with this energy and this connective energy. And it's our job to be the change we wish to see. And if it becomes too intense where someone is really just bringing us down, that's when you have to separate yourself, right? And you have to communicate and say, listen, I'd love to continue this relationship, or I'd love to continue working together, but I need to be around a certain kind of energy. And I believe that the positive energy is what elevates our company or what elevates our business. So, we're going to have to separate, and that's where communication comes in. But before you get to that point, I do believe being the change you wish to see is the answer.
Amen. You just mentioned Tony Robbins. He always says, motions comes from emotions. The way you think, the way think is gonna the way you act. And I love the guy. I tell everybody this is a story. I learned English from Tony Robbins. I had the cassettes, the power, and I had those, and I was listening in my car, and I wouldn't understand 80% of it. And one day, I was listening to it, and it says, "Pull over now," and I was scared, and I pulled over and said, "Okay, now listen." And I love the guy. I know you met him before. That's one of my bucket list that I'm.
Yeah, so I now work with Tony and his team, and I just, in January I hosted his big Time to Rise summit, and I was just out in Scottsdale, and I hosted his and Dean Graziosi's Thrive in 2025 event. So I've had the joy and honor of working very closely with Tony. And let me tell you, that man walks his walk, and it's so beautiful to see. When I tell you firsthand, I was like, we work together. Like, on the same team. And what was so beautiful for me was observing him. And he cares so much. This is a man, he doesn't have to do one more damn thing in his whole life. He has the money he needs. He has everything he needs. He does what he does because he loves to serve, and he wants to help as many people as possible. And I watch him, and I would get tears in my eyes watching him, literally like 10 feet from him. And I could see how much he cares. And I was like, man, this is so refreshing to see. So he is who he appears to be, and he practices what he preaches. And it really is an honor to work alongside him, because he is one of those people. He's exactly who he says he is. He does the things that he teaches. And, it's a joy to watch.
What have you learned from him?
Oh,
a lot.
Life is about service. We'll do anything more for someone else than we will for ourselves. And when you start to realize that, I talk about this a lot, but like seeking to understand instead of be understood, right? That changes everything. Whether it's you speaking on a stage, whether it's in a conversation at a coffee shop, when you seek to understand a person, that's when you listen in an active way. When you seek to understand instead of be understood, all of a sudden, all this stuff going on in your brain, what if I'm not good enough? What if I mess up? What if my accent gets in the way? All of that goes away, because now you're thinking about them instead of yourself.
I'm going to ask you for advice, Renee. I am thinking, and I'm saying this publicly, is going to be out there. I'm trying to be retired from the company and, hand the baton to my son. He's old enough to take it. And is it scary? I want to get back to go back fully into speaking and tour and writing, finishing my book and doing what I love to do. As you said, serve and connect and help one person a day. That's my goal. Is it scary? And why is it so scary to me? I don't know.
Because
is it scary for you?
Abso-freaking-lutely. But everything we want is on the other side of comfort. The beauty of life resides outside your comfort zone. And you know that. And I know you innately know that. Your gut knows that. And that's why you just said this out loud, because you're saying it to the world so we can all hold you accountable.
Yep. I said it. This is the first time I'm saying it publicly.
My friend, I'm here for you. I'm holding up a mirror for you. Rami, the world needs you. So it's time to pass the baton to your son. What a gift, right? To even have the luxury to do that so you can serve, because as we just shared, the world needs your light. The world needs light, period. And because you've been gifted from God with this beautiful energy, you're a connector. The world needs this now more than ever, because people are too glued to their screens. They're too worried about what's on the other side of social media. And it's going to take you and your gifts and your energy to bring people back to that simplicity.
Thank you so much. Actually, you just said what my team are saying. And they all told me last week we had a meeting. They said, you have the media company. We work for clients, influencers. You got a full-blown studio. People that can travel with you. You can be, the Gary Vee does what you have. And I said, why are you not going to do it? I said, I can't leave you guys behind. And my son said, I can do it. I can do it. You just watch me from the back in the shadow. Just go do what you love to do. And I made my decision that I am going to do it. Is it scary? Yes. I feel that I'll leave my team behind. And I said, no, my team, they said, no, you're still going to be here. You're still going to be with us, but let us take it. And I'm going to just have faith and do it. And actually July 1st, and actually the day that I want to hit the ground and running, my team are ready. And I said, okay, get back to the ground.
Can I tell you something? I want to give you a little perspective shift here. By you doing this and you following your dreams, you're not leaving your team behind. You are inspiring them, because by you doing this, you're giving them the confidence to do what they truly desire. By you being confident in your son, he's going to be more confident in himself. So you leaving and doing this isn't leaving anyone behind. It's the opposite. You're elevating them, right? When we step into our power, we empower others. And that's what you're doing.
Yep. Even though he's like 24, 25, he's going to be the youngest CEO. But
that's amazing.
But, I'm still going to help him. But, and you really, really encouraged me when I read your story from the Broadway, and you totally shifted, and you didn't have any business background experience and everything. I said, if Renée did it, I can do it. Even though God gave me all the tools that I have right now, I didn't have it many years ago. I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm just going to build it and go out there and do what I love to do. Speaking, talking, coaching, writing my book and doing a tour, all that stuff. And it's going to happen. Is it scary? Yes. Fearful? Yes. But you got to go through it. You got to go through it. And that's what I made myself. And I'm just going to go through it. And I have a lot of support from personal family and then business colleagues, because I can do this. I can be a CEO. I can run it. I have done my shares, and now it's a well-oiled machine. They can do it, but I'm not in my full potential. And I have to make a peace with myself, because the worst thing in life, Renée, is regret. I don't want to have, I don't want to have any regret.
Take it from me. The purpose of your life is to activate and use all of your God-given gifts. And that's what you're doing. And that's what you innately feel. And you have my full support.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Oh my goodness. I mean it. I'm so excited for you. And I know that it's what you're meant to do, because again, that's why if God didn't want us to utilize these gifts, he wouldn't have even put that thought or that drive within you.
Yep. I talked to Louis Howe. He was here. We are behind the stage, and Louis said, go for it.
Yes. I agree, Louis.
I said, Louis, I'm not you. He said, it doesn't matter. Go for it, dude. Go for it, dude. And I have amazing support. As I said, I'm grateful for that. Everybody wants me to succeed, and I want everybody else to succeed by me being out there and helping them and supporting them, because we all need help. We all need help. The three words that the alcoholic people, they cannot say, otherwise they wouldn't be alcoholic, is I need help.
That's it.
And you can do it. I need help, and other people, they need help. Well, we're going to do it. What is your legacy look like, Renée? How you picture your legacy? It's so I'm so interested in that.
The quote that represents my business and why I do what I do is the Maya Angelou quote. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but they will never forget the way you made them feel. And for me, it's about leaving this world with that legacy, helping to start a communication movement by helping 100 million people plus to get back to that authentic connection and communication through simple tools, the tools that we're talking about here. And I just want to leave this world people who say, oh my goodness, Renee always made me feel so good. Renee helped me to see my own gifts. Renee helped to give me confidence. And that's what I want. Leave the world a way better place than where it started, and to let people know that they can step outside their comfort zone. They can take that imperfect action, and that's the purpose of our lives.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. And, to close this, I just want to tell you how grateful I am that I met you, how grateful I am that I can call you my friend. And I always say this, things happens for a reason.
Yes.
You meet people for the reason. I cannot explain it. I'm not a God. I cannot tell you what's going to happen. But any person in any given moment you meet in your life, there's a reason for it.
Yes.
Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next month. There is a reason for it. But I can tell you as a friend, I'm always here to support you. You need anything. I'm serious. I say it publicly. Just text me. I got the whole team. If you need anything, I'm here, and I'm here to serve you because you do what I love everybody does, because you're amazing. You're doing a fantastic. I follow you. You are funny. You are energetic. Your energy is just contagious, and you move and shake things, and you go out there, and every morning you do your makeup, you talk to yourself and have fun and it's you. And that's what I love about you. You're not pretending to be somebody else. You are you. And that means so much to all of us.
Thank you so much, Rami. I feel so blessed that we met a year ago. I say this all the time. I value nothing more in life than truly genuine people. And you are one of the greats, my friend. And I'm so excited for your new chapter, and I'm here to cheer you on. And I am just so thrilled. I know we're going to connect again in person.
Yep. San Antonio. I will see you in San Antonio.
That's it. I can't wait to see you. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
And thank you for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. I look forward to see you in San Antonio, dear.
Yes. Woohoo. See you soon.
Thank you, dear. Bye.